Does your adorable, angelic, perfect pupper have stanky, gross, and just plain nasty breath? Let's fix that. Welcome back to Alpha Paw, your destination for everything dog. I'm Bernie Zilio, and I'm on a mission to answer every doggone question you've ever had about your fur babies. And today, we're talking about why your dog's breath stinks and what you can do about it. Fortunately, we have an expert with us today, Dr. Ross Bernstein. Dr. Ross is a seasoned veterinary professional and pet care expert. He earned his doctorate degree in veterinary medicine at UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, and his work has been featured in several industry-leading publications, including the Journal of Veterinary Surgery. He is our go-to vet for everything we want and need to know about our fur babies. So welcome back to Alpha Paw, Dr. Ross.
Hey, Bernie, how are you doing?
I am great. Thank you so much for being here. I have to admit, let's start this video off with a weird confession. I thoroughly love my dog's breath. Now, it's not like stinky, it's just his breath, and I'm obsessed with it. However, I think there's a difference between like dog breath and like if your dog's breath actually smells. So I learned the fancy word for bad breath is halitosis.
Yeah, nice.
So
I
look at
thought I
me
was
being
going
a
to be talking
veterinarian.
about that. Okay. I see you, Bernie. Okay.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you before we get into how to fix bad breath. What are some causes of halitosis?
Yeah, probably the most common one is dental disease or the buildup of plaque and tartar around the teeth, which is a combination of food particles and bacteria. That is by far the most common, and we'll get into why dogs have a lot of dental disease. Some other causes is if they have wounds or abscesses or other sorts of infections in their mouths, which is kind of along the same lines as the dental disease, but these can even be from trauma or they have some sort of wound and an infection. So bacteria are smelly. Infections can be pretty gnarly in their mouths. And then some other metabolic disorders like kidney or liver disease, and we'll get into that later. And then probably your favorite one, sometimes dogs eat all sorts of nasty things, including their own feces or poop. So those are some other reasons why their breaths can be smelly.
Okay, so it sounds like there is a wide variety of reasons that our dog's breath can not smell like roses. So let's get into what you described as the most common, which would be periodontal disease or oral hygiene. So can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so dogs, just like you and me, they eat food every single day, whether that's wet food or dry food, they're still eating. And if we are not brushing their teeth every single day or every other day, those food particles will build up on their teeth and will start to cause periodontal disease, gingivitis, and other, you name it, stuff going on in their mouth. They also eat their treats, eat chew toys, eat stuff off the ground and outside. All of that, like for us, we brush our teeth, rinse our mouths, go to the dentist and have our teeth cleaned, scaled, and polished. So for dogs, if they're not doing that, that's just going to keep building up and building up and building up. And eventually it can start to smell. Not to mention, it can start causing pain, discomfort, and infections inside your dog's mouths. So that, yes, periodontal disease is a big one.
Yeah, and we've talked about this on the show so many times, how important oral hygiene is for our dogs. And whether it's brushing or, some type of stick or bone that they can munch on that cleans their teeth. I mean, there's a variety of ways to help your dog in that department. So that seems fairly treatable, I guess you could say. Now, something else you mentioned that could be a cause of our dog's breath smelling is dietary causes, which I found really interesting. So can you kind of break that down for us, Dr. Ross?
Yeah, and I want to say something from earlier that I didn't mention yet, but little dogs like Chihuahuas, Yorkies, little poodles, they're much more predisposed to getting dental disease than bigger dogs, for example, like Pod. He's going to have a much stronger jaw, bigger teeth, and they generally will not lose their teeth throughout their life just from periodontal disease. You can brush them or not brush them, and they'll still likely not have their teeth falling out. Whereas little dogs, I'll often see some that have never had dental care before. And as they get older, a lot of their teeth are already falling out. So for little dogs, it's going to be it's important for all dogs, but little dogs especially. Some of the things that we can do to help prevent the onset of dental disease and from making it worse is, number one, brushing. Nothing can really replace that. Number two, hard food is going to be better than soft food. Hard food, and there are some prescription diets out there that are designed for dental health, but hard food is better because if you think about it, as the teeth crunch and grind through those hard kibbles, there's shearing forces that can scrape away some of the buildup of plaque and tartar on their teeth. Now, if they already have calculus, which is a mineralized version of those food particles and bacteria, it's unlikely that that's going to be scraped off just naturally. Soft food, on the other hand, is much more likely to stick and peck on the teeth, and it's going to be more difficult to scrape away and move away on the day-to-day eating.
Okay, Dr. Ross, that makes perfect sense. I've heard the hard food versus soft food argument before, so I'm glad to kind of hear that confirmed from you. Now, let's say our dogs eat things that aren't hard or soft food meant for dogs. What if they get into the trash, or if they eat feces, or and I've seen this before, and it makes me cringe when a dog sees like a dead rodent or something and they go after it. I mean, all of those things seem like they could cause bad breath. Am I correct?
Yeah. And we're talking about dogs, but I'm just going to change the subject for 1 second, because my friend's cat always walks inside with dead mice or little birds. And it's really, eating roadkill or carrion. That can lead to bad breath, as these decaying corpses, bodies can definitely have a bad odor to them. Eating feces, or the medical word for that is coprophagia. Eating trash. I mean, and dogs they just eat all sorts of things, especially young ones and puppies. So if it's a coprophagia, you want to try to pick up the poop as fast as you can. There are potentially some medical reasons underlying it, but just the behavioral coprophagia, it is the more common type. If you know your dog is the one that gets into the trash, get a special kind of lid or lever or magnets that they can't figure out how to open, or put the trash in a place where your dog can't get to. So just be mindful of what your dog is eating or ingesting.
Totally. And I will say, just like off topic, but not really, my boyfriend's mom's dog, his name is Duke, caught a bird and put it in her bed on Mother's Day. So while it wasn't a dead bird, it's still, these are types of things happen often. And I honestly thank my lucky stars that my dog is a picky eater and won't go near any dead rodents. Anyway, moving on to a little bit more serious reasons why our dog's breath could smell. Now, you mentioned liver disease, kidney disease. I heard diabetes. I mean, how can those things be causing our dog's breath to smell?
I would say it's a different kind of smell versus dental disease. If they have liver disease, kidney disease, diabetes, there's something metabolic going on where either some toxic substances are not filtered out of the blood, or in the case of diabetes, they're using ketones instead of glucose for their metabolism. So it will smell different, I would say. Not necessarily bad, but you can notice a different type of smell coming from your dog's breath. Some people might think it's bad. Some people might think it's a bit sweeter. If you're noticing changes in your dog's breath or the smell around them in general, those are other things to be concerned about too.
Yeah, and I think if we can't, because I don't know the difference between their breath smelling bad because they ate something or because there's something going on. So I would say, if you have any questions, bring your dog in to the veterinarian. Now, that was all how to treat the bad breath once it's there. But I also want to talk about preventing. Now, what are some things we can do to prevent bad breath in our dogs?
So we mentioned brushing the teeth twice a day. I mean, that would be ideal. But look, I'm a veterinarian. It's even hard for me to brush my own dog's teeth. And I can't expect every pet owner to brush their dog's teeth every day or every other day. So then the next step is, what else can we do? I mean, you can brush them every now and then, but then the plaque and tartar will build up. There are chew toys. There are oral rinses. Alphapa actually makes a great one that can reduce the amount of bacteria in the mouth and amount of food particles that are there. It doesn't replace brushing, but it is a step in between. Then you can consult with your veterinarian whether or not your dog is a good candidate to undergo an anesthetic dental cleaning. That is an anesthetic procedure, so we always recommend doing blood work beforehand to check and make sure that their kidneys are functioning appropriately, that their liver is healthy, that they are a good candidate for anesthesia. Then we take dental x-rays where we examine the gum above the gum line as well as below, and we clean, scale, polish, and probe every single tooth, making sure that there are no loose teeth, any decaying teeth, fractured, broken ones, any that are infected. If these are the case, that's going to be a source of pain and discomfort for your dog, and possibly even infection that can spread to other areas of the body. So we would want to recommend an extraction or removal for that tooth. So those are some things that we can do for dental disease or periodontal disease in dogs.
Absolutely. And Dr. Ross, honestly, I'm so appreciative of veterinarians. Like, we just know that you guys keep our pets alive, but the amount of things that you actually do, it's beyond impressive. So thank you, honestly, for everything that you guys do. Now, you mentioned the Alphapa Magic Mouthwash. I'm obsessed, and so is my dog. It is, I mean, he's not the easiest dog to kind of brush his teeth, but he's obsessed with this mouthwash. You just pour a little bit into his water bowl, and it reduces the amount of plaque and buildup on his teeth, and he doesn't even notice. And plus, it leaves his breath smelling amazing. So that's one option. Another option is the Alphapa Dentalicious Doggy Bones. They're just these little bones that are all natural. Your dogs just like chew on them. They taste amazing. They clean their teeth in the process. Again, it's a win-win. There's a variety of options if your dog is not the best with teeth brushing. So check those out in the link below. I'll drop it down in the description box. And as always, thank you so much, Dr. Ross. But if you guys, our viewers, have any additional questions or comments or concerns, go ahead and drop those down in the comment section below. Again, I'm Bernie Zilio, and this is Alphapa. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single doggone episode, and we'll see you next time.